All right, in this video, we're going to look at solving ratios using a table, or what sometimes I call a columns, but table is probably a better way to say it. So we're going to just try a problem. So let's say, for example, that we had a recipe for pizza dough, and that recipe had 2 cups of flour to every 1 teaspoon of yeast. Okay, so that's my ratio, 2 cups of flour to 1 teaspoon of yeast. So probably what we would do is we would just create a table, flour, yeast, and start with our first relationship we know, which is 2 and 1. Okay, and a lot of the Common Core textbooks, what they'll have for this is they'll have a partially filled in table and then ask students to fill in the other part. So they might have, for example, 6, maybe they have 10, maybe they have 7, and maybe they have, I don't know, 9. Okay, so they asked students to use this ratio of 2 cups of flour to 1 teaspoon of yeast to figure out how we could make our pizza dough. So if I want to make a bigger batch of pizza dough that had 6 cups of flour, how many teaspoons of yeast then would I need? So here again, we want to keep this relationship of 2 to 1. So 2 times what gets me to 6? Well, that's 2 times 3. So I'm tripling my recipe. So that means to keep this, I need to take 1 times 3. So my answer is 3. All right, let's try the next one. 10. To get from 2 to 10, I have to multiply 2 by what number to get it to 10? 5. Okay, so that means then to figure out this side, I need 1 times 5. So here I go, 1 times 5 is 5. So to keep this relationship of 2 to 1, I need 10 cups of flour to 5 teaspoons of yeast. All right, now we could try it this way. 7. If this is 7, then 7 times 1. So I would want to take 2 times 7. So here it's 14. All right. Now the other way you could do it, of course, is that you could also notice that, hey, everything in this column is double. So here's 3. Double 3 is 6. Or half. Here's 10, half of 10 is 5. So there are lots of patterns and relationships and ratios, so you could choose whichever one your classroom was catching on to. So let's say somebody spoke up and said, hey, I noticed that this column is double this column. Okay, cool. So that means that if this is 9, then what's this one? 9 times 2 would be 18. Okay, we could say, well, let's try that again. What happens then if this is 25 teaspoons of yeast? Then this number would be 50. Okay, so again, one of the most common uses in our Common Core textbooks for kids is that they will have a table partially filled in, and we want to try and show relationships to fill out the rest of the table.